kavithaandhraammayi. Like చేయండి, షేర్ చేయండి, సబ్స్క్రైబ్
Ninth class history చరిత్ర Socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution పేజ్ నెంబర్ 96 6 క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉన్నాయమ్మా. ఈ 6 క్వశ్చన్స్ చెప్పుకుందాం. ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్, వాట్ వర్ ది సోషల్ ఎకనామిక్ అండ్ పొలిటికల్ కండిషన్స్ ఇన్ రష్యా బిఫోర్ 1905? ఆన్సర్, సోషల్ కండిషన్స్. First point, 85% of the Russian population was agriculturist. Second point, industries existed but most of them was privately owned. Third point, workers were divided on the basis of their occupation. Workers migrated to cities to work in factories. Fourth point, the society was divided into privileged and non-privileged groups. Fifth point, privileged group comprised of prosperous and influential people who held almost all the important offices of the state and most of the land was under their control. Economic conditions. First point, due to rise in prices of essential goods, real wages decreased by 20%, leading to the famous St. Petersburg strike, where 110,000 workers protested, demanding reduction in work hours and increase in wages. Second point, this strike started a series of events that are together known as the 1905 Revolution. Third point, peasants cultivated crops for their own needs and Russia was also a major exporter of grains. Fourth point, foreign investment increased in the industries. Russian railway network expanded and many factories were set up in 1890s. Fifth point, iron steel production quadrupled and coal production doubled. Political conditions. First point, the Russian Empire was vast and basically feudal in nature. Second point, it was under the autocratic rule of Caesar Nicholas II. Third point, vast area of land were held tax-free by the clergy and the nobility. They monopolized the high posts in the army and administration. Fourth point, peasants frequently refused to pay rent and even murdered the landlords. Fifth point, being inspired by the democratic experiments by the Western European countries, the Russians also demanded a responsible government, but all their demands were turned down. Sixth point, therefore it led to the moderate reformers talk about the revolutions. Second question, in what ways was the working population in Russia different from other countries in Europe before 1917? Answer. First point. In Russia, 85% of the population was agriculturists. This proportion was very high than any other European countries. In France and Germany, this proportion was between 40% to 50%. Second point, industrialization started late in Russia, unlike in Europe. Industries were private property of industrialists. Craftsmen existed alongside large factories. Third point, in 1902, landlords were murdered on a large scale. Peasants refused to pay rent to the landlords, and peasants wanted the lands of the landlords. But in France, peasants respected the nobles and fought with them during the French Revolution. Fourth point, workers were a divided social group. Women made up 31% of the factory labor force by 1914, but they were paid less than men. Divisions among workers showed themselves in dress and manners too. Fifth point, despite divisions, workers did unite to strike work when they disagreed with employees about dismissals or work conditions. These strikes took place frequently in the textile mills.